MLB Tonight resumes with Cliff Floyd and Adnan Berg. Alex Cora just announcing Marcelo Meyer is breaking camp as the starting second baseman. Great news for that young man. And then Ian Brown tweeting in other news, Christian Campbell was optioned to Worcester. Let's get back to baseball. It's presented by Travel Texas. For more on the Red Sox roster decisions, we bring in our friend Jared Carrabba's podcast, always a must listen. Jared, what do you make of the decision that Meyer plays second and Christian Campbell, who got an 8-year, $60 million contract, being sent down?
Yeah, I think a lot of us were rooting for Christian Campbell to at least make some noise and make the decision difficult for the Red Sox. But in the end, he's a man without a defensive position. There was obviously the opening at third base, the opening at second base until the Caleb Durbin trade. I think Alex Cora preferred Durbin at third and ultimately won that battle with the front office, which left second base open. And I think if Campbell were at least able to play a league average defense at second base, it makes the debate more intriguing for all of us. But at the end of the day, Meyer came up last year and he looked like a pro. He handled himself like a pro. I think when the Red Sox are kind of building this team to be pitching and defense first, they just couldn't even afford to entertain Campbell at that position.
Yeah, Campbell, unfortunately, a year ago really struggled defensively. Minus 16 defensive runs saved and a 645 OPS this spring. Hopefully figures things out in the minors and comes back sooner rather than later. This time of year is all about roster decisions. Are there any in the league that have stood out to you?
Yeah, so I love that Roki Sasaki is going to be making that opening day Dodgers rotation. I know that they've had some injuries. Obviously, Blake Snell is going to be on the injured list to start the year. Gavin Stone, another name. But I don't know. I feel like this guy came over here and there was a lot of pomp and circumstance, a lot of wow factor. He, at one point, Dave Roberts was sitting there saying, I don't even know if he's going to make the postseason roster, to be honest with you. Then he ends up getting his spot in the bullpen, pitched really well out of the bullpen. But I think the intention all along was to have him join this Dodgers rotation. But when Blake Snell, Gavin Stone, when they're ready to join this rotation, you kind of look at Sasaki as the odd man out based on the four other arms that are in that rotation. But I hope at the very least that he makes it a difficult decision for the organization to make.
Yeah, the fastball has been his problem, oddly, last year and this year, though he really was a weapon out of the bullpen. What are you most looking forward to on opening day?
Ooh, so the first thing that comes to mind for me, I wish I was going to be in Cincinnati. I keep hearing about how it's a holiday in Cincinnati. The Red Sox are going to start the season there. We couldn't make it work. I'm very disappointed. I'm very sad. But I think, the other thing that I sort of turn to is Paul Skeens on the bump for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I love the fact that even though USA came up short in the WBC, that he got that taste pretty much of postseason baseball. I want to see what that does to him, because if he was already this elite starting pitcher at 23 years old, what is he going to look like now that he's got a little bit of a taste of the postseason bug? He's gotten bit by it. He didn't need the Pittsburgh Pirates to do it. But this team, Connor Griffin, they end up getting an extension done. It's not like I'm not looking at the Pirates to be this explosive organization in the Central anytime soon. But it's like, if you're a fan and you're just dying for competitive baseball, that's a different conversation than postseason baseball. The Pirates are pretty close. That rotation is going to be great with Jones and Chandler.
Yeah, I think ultimately if the Pirates score 4 runs a game, that's good enough to be a 500 team, 85 wins. Who knows? That could be a third wild card spot. Ultimately, Jeremy, another question all fans are asking, and certainly people who hate Los Angeles are saying, can anyone dethrone the Dodgers?
So the answer is yes. The way that I look at it is, 2024, the Dodgers even said that division series against San Diego, that was our World Series. Last year in the actual World Series, the Blue Jays had a lot of chances to dethrone the Dodgers. I understand you're going to go into 2026, you're going to look at the odds, and the Dodgers are way up here, and then the field is I don't want to say way down here, but there's notable separation. I think what's exciting about 2026 is when you do look at that gap between the Dodgers and the rest of the pack, there's no defined number 2. And Adnan, I've said this before, the New York Yankees are probably the number 2 for the betting odds. But if they were the Louisiana Balloons, they wouldn't be the number 2. They're in that other pack. It's the Yankee aura. It's the pinstripes. It's all that. You look at talent. They're in the mix with the Mariners and the Astros and all these other teams that have a case for number 2, they shouldn't be removed from any other teams that have the second best odds. If they were the Louisiana Balloons, you'd look at it the same way.
What if they're the Montgomery Biscuits? I'm just throwing that one out there. I love the Biscuits. Great team name.
Why not? Why not?
By the way, 27% chance right now. Fangraphs giving the Dodgers over the field to win it. Those are astronomical odds this time of year. Mariners are at 9%. Baseball is Dead. The podcast is Section 10. Jared Roberts, always awesome stuff, man. Cannot wait for the season to begin. We'll be chatting to you lots. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.
Great stuff there from Jared, as always. Christian Cable now joins this list. Unfortunately, guys who just, they signed major money before making their debut and not sure how it's going to pan out. Eloy Jimenez has not been a star on the South Side. Scott Kingery is not a household name in Philadelphia. And Evan White was the first of those deals around that time in 2019. And again, the Mariners made almost the World Series last season. Evan White was not a contributor to that team. What do you make of this thought? Cliffy, I get it from the player's perspective. Hey, listen, I don't know when I can get this big contract. Right. This is life-changing money. Give me what you can. From team's perspective, they see a bit of potential and lock them up, but it hasn't worked out, at least in some few instances.
Always look at, when you look at some of them, AV, I think the biggest is what's the rush for certain cats, right? So if you look at, Campbell and what he did in the minors in 2024, 20 bombs, 77 ribbies, you can go 330 average, like nothing else to prove down there, get him up, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine, but let's see what he does first. And sometimes it works out. If you look at Evan White's, if you look at Kingery's, those are 6 for 24, not too bad.
Yeah.
But when you look at Campbell, it's like 8 for 60. It's like, where's the motivation to be great?
Yeah.
And listen, I'm never speculating on the player, or nor am I ever hating on the pockets of any player getting bread.
Of course.
I just look at it from a standpoint from organization and going, what's the rush? Let's see it.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to keep sending them down, you're going to get the production that you saw last year from Campbell. 73 games in AAA, 8 homers, cool, 270 average. It's Debbie, it's almost like Debbie Downer.
Yeah.
And you have to try your best. I think the most important thing of, these guys getting to the point of being successful at the big league level is, how do I maximize the potential of the player?
Yeah.
I don't think it's by giving them the contract. I think it's by getting them up there and then kind of getting their surroundings under them, getting their feet up under them, and going, okay, now go out there to the wolves and get after it. Right?
It's like, you want to give them a taste, but don't make sure they're too well fed.
Right. I mean, this is a ribeye steak with the potato and everything on the side, and also dessert.
Conversely, it does work out. Look at a team like the Braves. Acuna, 8 years, $100 million is a steal. $12.5 million for a guy who's an MVP. Michael Harris locked up, good contract. Albies is a joke, 7 years, $35 million. So. I'm with you. Generally speaking, you got to be careful with these contracts, but sometimes with Atlanta, it's hit a lot.
Right. And I think, it gives us ammo to talk about when a guy is going to not make the team, right? So you start going down the list of like, oh, this ain't working out, or this ain't working out. And then there is some stories where you're like, well, this team hit it on the head. Yeah. Anthopoulos did it right with the Braves and got these guys to sign these deals. Acuna deal looked crazy at first. Yes. Now it's not so bad because he's been hurt. Yeah. He's torn 2 ACLs. Yeah. So I think when you look at some of them, I'm not saying, Christian Campbell's a bust. Mm-hmm. I'm saying what's the rush to doing some of these deals? Yeah,
it's tough. Like you said, multi-year deal before that guy's even made his debut. Let him at least play a season, then lock him up. All good with that. You heard Jared mentioning the second best team in baseball. Who is it for you?
It's the Toronto Blue Jays.
Nice.
And, I know they have a couple injuries, right? When you look at, Trey Savage, and then you have Jose Barrios and stuff like that. But I think you have enough there to hold down the fort. Big signing with Dylan Cease. I like that. They have a really good, nucleus there with their platoon situations. Guys now going to probably be playing more when you look at, Santander, who they signed to be a big power source, is out for a while. But this lineup still plays. Right, I just think when you look at John Snyder, how he utilizes the platoon, when you look at, the 6th spot right there, right, that all works out for them because he believes Jesus Sanchez is a dog.
Yes.
He likes him a lot. Mm-hmm. And so you have a lot of options. And also, Eloy Jimenez was in camp.
Yeah.
So he's talking about certain, scenarios that's going to have to make up for the loss of a guy that can give you 40 and 144 like Santander can.
Yeah, Santander gone. Obviously, Bo Bichette no longer there. I think Okamoto could be very interesting there at third base for the Jays.
Yeah, and they put a lot of emphasis, what I would hope every team does, on defense.
Yes.
Right? Catching the baseball and not giving extra outs is something that he talked about in spring as well. It's like, hey, don't put the pressure on yourself. Just go out there and, make the routine plays, and we'll be fine. I think he understands, and I think they all understand, like, they were an inch away from winning the World Series.
Yeah.
Like, let's not lose what we know we have here in Toronto.
Yeah, Okamoto certainly grades out well defensively.
Yeah.
Great bat-to-ball skills, doesn't strike out much. That's really what the Jays' offensive philosophy is all about. Good pick by Cliffy. Spring breakout continues.